Their choice, right? It was their choice. The decision they made has caused this to happen. And I think it's preposterous to think that they have this type of entitlement to think that they can come back into your life and do whatever they want and not understand that this had bigger repercussions than what they thought. You knew better, but you didn't follow your own intuition. You didn't follow what your gut instinct was telling you. You knew that this person had the power to completely destroy you. And you did it anyway because you got a big heart, right? You let them borrow your car. You let them move into your house. That time of the season, you probably gave them your tax money too. For them still to treat you poorly and for them still to discard you for someone else. And right now, they're probably believing that this silence is temporary. Because when people end a relationship, they usually assume the other person will reach out eventually. Maybe not today, but eventually tomorrow or the next day, right? They expect a text, a question, some type of closure because they have the power. But when that silence keeps going, something begins to shift inside their mind. What once felt like control starts turning into this uncertainty, and uncertainty is where that fear starts to begin, where that karma starts to hit. What's going on, my beautiful people? Welcome back to the Rebound Journal. Welcome back to another video. I got a message for you guys today. And because of the weather is feeling really good right now, I have a positive message for you. I believe that this silence that you're giving them is going to start to scare them. They have lost the power. They have worked so hard to forget about you, to move on, to get into this replacement ship. But I'm gonna tell you, after years and years of doing this, what I feel is gonna play out here with the person that you were in a relationship with. In the beginning, the silence, they don't really care. Actually, they love that relief stage that they were in because they get to do whatever they want to do, run around all willy-nilly, and they don't have to deal with the true decision that they make. Now, let's not forget, when someone breaks up with the other person, they think that they still can have this open door and they can still come back at any moment because they got rid of you. It's like when someone fires an employee and that person really needed that job, or they try to pretend like they really needed that job, that employer feels like, oh, at any moment I can give them temporary work. At any moment I can let them come back and volunteer because they need my employment. Boy, I can tell you, when other companies start reaching out and that person has more quality, more potential options, it is a wrap for that business. Because once you get further and further away from that breakup and they think that, oh, this person is no longer desperate. This person must have gotten a new job, must have gotten a new person in their life. This person must have moved on. They feel like they no longer have the one thing that gave them the most power, which is the ability to come back through that door. This is the one thing I like about the no contact rule when people talk about it. They start out with something light. They say, go 30 days, no contact. And let's say they give you that safe 30 days because it takes 21 days to form a new habit. 30 days is just a nice little benchmark for you to really focus on yourself and understanding where you want to be. And the further you get away from that breakup, it gives you a little bit more clarity about just how you were acting in that relationship, because many times I see people start to think, I was extremely desperate and almost embarrassed about the way that I showed up. So then you start thinking, maybe I don't want to get back with this person. So once you can get to 30 days, you can get to 60 days, 90 days, they start to panic and they start to get curious about what you're doing, who you're hanging out with, if you've moved on yourself. And that curiosity, it turns into anxiety. And what do people do when they have anxiety? It's almost like your nervous system gets hijacked and you have no control over the decisions that you make. So when they start panic calling you at 2 o'clock in the morning and you haven't talked to them in 4 months, or when they send you that text message, just know that that's that anxiety that's driving that bus. It may not necessarily mean that they truly want to get back in that relationship with you, but at this point, you do have more power because you've held this standoff because you knew exactly what you wanted. You wanted a relationship. You wanted to make things work. You wanted to go to counseling, therapy. You let them do whatever they wanted, and they still ended up leaving you. Now, the tables are starting to turn. If you want to continue this conversation a little bit deeper, you can join my Patreon. That link is in the description, or you can book a one-on-one call with me. That link is in the description as well. That's when you'll start seeing them start checking up on you, starting to wonder about what you have going on. You'll start seeing increased action on your social medias. I think it's kind of funny and kind of exploitive what people do sometimes when they come out with these dating apps. They come out with these apps you can download on your cell phone or even on the desktop to kind of help you see who's viewed your profiles, see who's stalking you secretly. They do that because they know a lot of their clientele will be people who've gotten out of a breakup, people that are wondering where their ex head is at, if they're still thinking about you, if they still care about you. And I think it's kind of exploitive. Just a little side note. But maybe the people that make those apps understand something, that usually when someone leaves your life or breaks it off or wants to, move on with their life, maybe they know that usually it's not permanent. And unless you're like a psychopath or sociopath and you just don't really have any type of heart, you're going to want to know what's going on with the person that you were in a relationship with at some point. I'm not saying that you're going to do it for the rest of your life, but throughout that short duration, when you're starting to think twice, you're starting to wonder if you made the right decision, it happens more times than you realize. And when they start to realize that they lost access to you, they may even start to step it up a notch. I've seen people comment on the channel about how their ex-husbands did this and that, or how their ex-wives just pop back at their house, even after the paperwork was filed and the divorce proceedings were done. They still thought that they had access to them. This happens really often in divorces when, you guys have been together for a long time. It's kind of hard redefining what those roles and what those relationships are going to look like. You don't really understand the boundaries. For example, if you have an ex-wife or ex-husband and they just pull up in the driveway and about to walk into the house like they still live there, it's because they don't understand that they lost access to that. The decision that they made, it was their choice, right? It was their choice. The decision they made has caused this to happen. And I think it's preposterous to think that they have this type of entitlement to think that they can come back into your life and do whatever they want and not understand that this had bigger repercussions than what they thought. So if you're someone that feels like you were a person that just didn't matter to them, if you were, honestly, I'm gonna put this clause in there, right? If you were someone that was extremely healthy for them, if you made their life better, if you elevated them, if you made them feel as if they were the best thing since sliced bread, if you worshiped the ground that they walked on, if you were adaptable in that relationship and would give them anything, just know that whenever this person that they're with now, if they don't up the ante and become better than you, if they do anything that reminds them of you, they're going to start thinking about you. And that silence that you're giving them will begin to scare them. I want to thank you guys for stopping by again. Please like, comment, and share. And I will see you in the next video.